What's up, guys? We're back again to Malicious Compliance. Let's get in the stories and I'll see you in a bit. Shoved aside because you're his mom? Okay. I do pro photos and was hired for a sporting event. A field of 180 top amateur competitors in the sport was narrowed down to 2 finalists. The winner would go on to do big things, as well as landing a nice payday. It could definitely be considered a life-changing event. I shot a lot of great photos of the event, and at the award ceremony, all the attention was on the winner, and not on the second place guy. So I offered to do pics with him, with his second place trophy and family. As I was setting up the shot, his mom shoved me aside forcefully. I said, "I'm setting up for some shots." She said, "I'm his mother." I stepped aside while she snapped some portrait mode pics on her phone. My intent wasn't truly malicious, as I intended to continue after she was done. But before she finished, I was called over by the organizers, aka my paycheck signers, to shoot more photos of the winner. So, I guess one might say it was passive malicious. It's sad that the second placer didn't get pro photos of the ceremony, but I'm not gonna argue with, "I'm his mother." You aren't doing as good as the others. Why aren't you booking more people? Just some background to begin. I work as what is best described as a traffic warden. I know, people are going to hate me, but either way, I've been doing this job roughly a year, and despite the abuse you get on the job, the 10-hour workdays and average pay, it's been a rewarding job. I struggled talking to people I didn't know. But since doing this job, it's really taught me people are a-holes and you shouldn't have to take their crap. Don't get me wrong, people are actually kind to us and respect that doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm working to make a living. But this story isn't about just some random person in the street. It's about the top dog, the boss in charge of all of our sector. Although it might not be some serious victory, like a story I read on here where the OP gave a woman a parking fine totaling tens of thousands of dollars, it's still a small victory in my eyes. So recently I came back at the end of the day with less parking tickets than my colleagues. It doesn't matter what we get, and we aren't allowed targets because it's against the law to. And it doesn't matter if you come back with 100 in a day or nothing. You get paid for your day's work. So I don't go out actively trying to get as many as I can. Of course not. I'm not an absolute a-hole like some believe. I just do what's in front of me and take it as the day comes like we are supposed to. But as I've said, I've recently been getting slightly fewer than my colleagues. So I come into work this morning and my boss tells me he needs to have a word with me. He said that the head of parking, the top guy of our sector, has been contacting him asking if I'm alright because I don't seem to be getting as many as other people. So he obviously thinks that I'm not working because I'm not making them enough money. I've been working here for a year and a half, never had problems before. People have come back doing hell of a lot worse than I have, and overall making us all look bad. And yet I'm being singled out for actually working? I may not get the most tickets, but I get the most accurate tickets. If you issue one incorrectly, you have to bring it back to the office with you. It gets marked down as a spoil, and your issue accuracy is affected. Doesn't actually mean anything, just means that the organization has to do some paperwork and do some bits to cancel the fine. Virtually everyone else comes back with at least one a week, if not up to like 3 a day. I've actually done this about 3 or 4 times for the entire time I've worked here. My boss says to me that for this week, I will be going out with a senior officer to make sure I'm working. Right, okay, whatever. They'll see I work anyway and have no qualms with it. They're all nice guys. This whole situation, I don't blame my boss for, or my seniors at all. As I said, they are really nice guys, and I'm glad I work with them. In fact, as I write this, I'm most of the way through the day, and my senior has already had 2 spoils today. See what I mean? So, I'm currently out with one of my seniors, going through the day as I usually would. When we come to the car park where all the employees of the organization I work for park. In order to park there, you need a specific permit given out by the parking sector of the organization. So the employees of all the other sectors park there too. Now I'm going around, my senior's behind me making sure I'm working when I get to a car. It's not got a permit. Okay, cool. That's an extra one today that I can show and say, look, I'm getting more tickets. When I heard my senior laughing behind me, he said, do you know whose car this is? I said, I have no clue. He told me it belongs to the head of parking for the organization, and he was going to give me the satisfaction of booking it. So although it's tipping it down with rain, I wanted this so bad, just as a screw you to the top of the chain who has no clue what happens out on the street. And yes, while it's only a small victory, I now get to say, while he has complained that I'm not getting as many, he can't complain now that I am, even if it's his car. I'll update if I hear back from my boss as to whether I'm still of any concern to the top of the chain that think I'm not working. Small victory, but doesn't matter. I feel a lot happier about this all anyway. Filling a hangar with foam. I heard this one from a fire sprinkler contractor on one of my job sites. Cast. Foreman. Foreman of the fire sprinkler contractor. Owner rep. Guy representing the owner, making sure the hangar is completed as the owner desires. He thinks he knows more than he does. Here's a video of a normal test of this type of system. If you want to see the test, go to the post below. The foreman and his crew were working on installing a foam fire suppression system in a new hangar. This system consists of 8 foam generator mounts in the ceiling of the hangar, a diesel pump that would supply several hundred gallons of water to the system every minute, and 6 500-gallon tanks that held the foam solution. When the water and the foam mixed in the generators, the foam would expand 200 times its original volume. When the system like this is complete, the system would be tested. This is never a full test of the full capacity of the system that would use all the foam, but a small test to ensure the functionality of the system, usually 100 gallons of foam or so. For this occasion, the owner rep came in and demanded a full triggering of the system. The foreman told the owner rep that they typically only do a short test. The owner rep replied, "Do you know how many millions of dollars of planes will be in this hangar? These systems are always fully tested. I want a full test and I want you to do it now." He tried to explain to the owner rep again, but the owner rep would have none of it. Luckily, the foreman had the forethought to write up a quick statement that the owner rep has demanded a full test, and the owner rep gladly signed it. The foreman and the owner rep proceeded to go up to the control room of the hangar to watch the test. The foreman then instructed one of his workers to do a full trigger on the system. When he did, the diesel water pump fired up and started pumping hundreds of gallons of water to the foam generators, along with the foam solution, and the foam starts pouring into the hangar and filling the hangar. On a normal test, the hangar will usually only fill to about 10 feet deep, but they did not do a normal test. Soon, the foam was rising up to the large glass windows on the control room, which was about 20 feet above the floor. The owner rep starts panicking and tells the foreman to stop the test. The problem with this is that with a large pump supplying such large quantities of water to feed this system, you can't just shut off a valve and stop the water flow. This will blow out the pipes and do significant damage to the pumps. So, the worker who triggered the system now has to go to the pump building to shut off the pump. But this does not shut off the water flow, as there is still pressure coming from the city water system, and it will still flow through the pump even when it's turned off. So the worker then has to go back to the hangar and start shutting off the 8 large valves to the foam generators. This all took a few minutes, in which the hangar is still filling with more and more foam. When they finally get the system shut down, the hangar is full to the roof with foam, as well as the attached brand new office area complete with carpet and furniture. Normally, the doors to any office areas are sealed for the tests, but the owner rep wanted to test now and did not give them any time to properly seal the doors prior to the test. So, now they have a hangar full of foam, an office full of foam, and 6 empty 500-gallon foam tanks. A few days later, the owner rep's boss comes to the hangar and demands to know why they performed a full triggering of the system. The foreman then pulled out the piece of paper that he had the owner rep sign and said he wanted a full test. The boss left with no further questions. They never saw the owner rep again on that job site. Just for refilling the 6 500-gallon foam tanks, the bill was close to $150,000. The office area had to be fully cleaned as well. Want me to fly to another state to pick up my kids? I'll take them back with me. So my mother is usually a very calm and understanding person who'll take a lot of stuff without complaining. But when she gets angry, she won't hesitate to bring up some sweet MC. My father, meanwhile, is the definition of an irritable mess who loves being extremely petty, and it's a good thing he and my mother aren't married anymore because I don't know how she ever stood him. This particular incident happened 2 years ago. So my parents were finishing up a custody trial. My father was losing the trial, and he wasn't happy about it. He decided in the summer of 17 to try to get back at my mother by taking a long vacation that goes through one of her weekends in the summer. Me and my sister find this out fairly quickly as the summer begins, and we tell our mother, who texts my father thinking he made a mistake. The conversation went something like this. Mom, are you taking the kids to Beach Town from month date 2017 to month date 2017? Dad, yes I am. Mom, you do know I have a weekend during that time, right? Dad, well, if you want to have them, you can come pick them up and do whatever you want with them. What I'm doing is perfectly legal and within the law, as we have to pick up the kids when it's our time. Surprisingly, he was right. My mother was done talking to him at that point and said nothing more on the matter. She just told us to enjoy our vacation at Beach Town. We spend a couple of days at the town. We've been to this place half a dozen times, so we're kind of bored. My father only likes it because he bought a summer home there and knows the people there. And sometimes he goes out to the bars alone at night with my stepmother. Eventually the weekend comes around, and at 6 p.m., the time when a parent is supposed to pick up, my mother shows up at the summer house. My father is shocked, and she asks for the kids, stating that she has rented a hotel here and has clothes for us. We take a ride with her in a cab back to the hotel, which she stayed at overnight, but she's only packed 2 bags and only 1 set of clothes for us, which is odd as we're supposed to be here until Monday morning. Then she takes out her airline tickets. We're taking the next flight home. No one of us wants to stay, of course. We're pretty tired of going to this place anyways, and we don't tell our father or stepmother. We fly home, and when Monday rolls around, my father is calling to ask where the kids are. My mother answers and tells him they're back home, and that if he wants to have them, he can come pick them up. My father is screaming over the line at this point, and my mother calmly tells him that this is perfectly legal and within the law, repeating back to him what he texted her at the beginning of the summer. My father spends the rest of the vacation alone in Beach Town. I hope he enjoyed it with my stepmother, since he nor my grandparents, the only other people who can take us in his name, are in town. Custody law states that we instead spend time with our mother. During that free week she got with us, we went to the amusement park and saw a few movies. Overall, we enjoyed that spectacle and time with our mother than going to Beach Town for the umpteenth time. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, maybe consider subscribing. And if you really liked it, give it a like and maybe a share. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.